What's up, everybody? It's your girl TK, and I am here. Monday Night Mel, absolutely a late night, but if you would jump on in while you're making ready for the evening, I want you to join me. Just turn your phones on, turn on your apparatuses, and or is it apparati? Whatever it is, turn on those digital devices and just listen in. Tonight is going to be an amazing conversation, and this is something I certainly want to share with each and every one of you. So, hello, good night, good morning, wherever you are, wherever you're joining in from, and wherever you will come in from at a later time. Hello, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Again, yes, indeed, it is a late night, but it has been a good night, and you have to know that in order for you to create habits and become a creature of habit, you must continue to do the thing that you want to do and that you need to do. And, scientifically, it has been proven that whatever you do for at least 21 days becomes a habit. And so even with the competing obligations that we have in a day, I've committed to this. And so with being committed to the commitment, I am here. So if you would oblige, I won't be here long. And of course, long is, that's just a matter of opinion, but what have you. But what I would love for you to do, if you are coming in, just like, share, and love. And you can certainly come back and take a listen to this at a later time. But thank you so much once again for joining me on this very late night. However, we're here. And tonight, we're going to be discussing something that we need to understand in the corporate arena. It is something that we need to harness, something that we should all possess, and it is called emotional intelligence. That's right, emotional intelligence in the workplace. And the reason why I love doing these on Monday is because it helps to kind of jumpstart your week and understand some of the things you can do to become a powerful force and become a high performing talent inside your organization. I want to share with you that there's nothing better, Ariel, than being a force to be reckoned with in your organization. And can I just share with you, you don't necessarily have to carry the titles of VP or director or team lead. You can be a high performing individual contributor, making everything that's necessary to your job grand and great, and harnessing what we know as emotional intelligence. So let's just jump right in to what emotional intelligence actually really is. Emotional intelligence is usually captured as EI. It's usually in quotient, or the emotional quotient is just simply the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions. OMG. It's about how you manage your emotions, both your own and then how you interact with others. So this is not just interpersonal, it is intrapersonal. In professional settings, you have to understand that emotional intelligence is a critical role. It's crucial in fostering collaboration, improving executive presence and communication, and enhancing your leadership effectiveness. When you come to understand that high emotional intelligence contributes to a positive work environment while leading to a lack of misunderstandings and conflicts, it will actually help you to be self-aware so that you can decrease all of the conflict, all of the chaos, and increase your productivity. So why does emotional intelligence in your workplace matter? I know it's kind of difficult sometimes to balance our own personal emotions against real life, what's actually happening realistically, and a professional setting. But let me tell you why emotional intelligence actually truly matters. It helps you in a workplace. It helps you as an employee express yourself clearly, concisely, and it helps others to better understand you. It also enhances your leadership quality. When you lead from a place of high emotional intelligence, it can actually inspire and motivate your teams effectively. So again, you don't have to be the person with the title. You don't have to be the person with the actual leadership capacity. However, even as a team member, you are responsible for boosting team collaboration. You are responsible. Isn't that amazing how you can become the energizer for your team? You can encourage empathy and cooperation amongst your colleagues. It actually also helps to reduce burnout and workplace stress. When you are in touch with your own emotions and you know that you are self-aware, it helps you to manage your emotions and navigate challenges with resilience. Another reason why emotional intelligence is absolutely important is because it also has been proven to increase job satisfaction. So employees that possess a strong emotional intelligence quotient tend to feel more engaged and fulfilled at their jobs. And so I don't know about you, but I do not want to be a just a shell of an individual going to work. I want to go to work and be fulfilled and engaged and empowered in my role, regardless of what it is. Listen, this is what I say about my working area. I am the CEO every single day of my workplace. I am responsible for how I show up, and how I show up, no one else can beat me at how I show up. So I take how I show up to work extremely seriously. And listen, this is for remote employees as well. This is not just being in person in an office, but if you're working as a remote employee, how are you showing up? How are you managing your emotion across even the digital platforms of your work environment? So listen, here's some strategies to harness emotional intelligence. And I want you to get these, write them down, put them in your memory bank, capture them so that you can start working on harnessing emotional intelligence so that as you show up as the CEO of your role, listen, the CEO, I don't care what your title is. I'm going to tell you right now, I am the CEO of my chair. When I get to work, when I clock in, when I come in, I possess all that it takes to be the chief executive officer, the president of my role and my assignment. And I take it extremely serious. I do. So I want you to get that in your mind, because you know what? How you show up actually helps you to present emotional intelligence in a great fashion. So here's how you can harness emotional intelligence. Everyone out there, listen, you have to first develop a self-awareness. Being self-aware is so important. So you have to reflect on your emotions and how they impact your interactions every single day. May I tell you something right now? You must remove the ego. Ego has to be removed when you are developing self-awareness, because when you are self-aware, there may be times, even in your reflection, that someone has to give you feedback. And in order for you to really relevantly receive feedback and readily receive it and then apply it, you can't have ego. Ego has to die. It has to be something that you're willing to allow to die down so that you can move forward. When your ego is always in the way, you become very self-defensive. You're always angry. You're mad at the world. No one can speak to you. We have to walk on eggshells. And listen, who wants to come to work and tiptoe around you? Nobody. No one wants to come to work and one day you're happy because you have donuts. The next day we don't know how we should move. The next day after that, we can tell that you've been in a fight or you've had a bad conversation. No. Emotional intelligence requires that you reflect on your own emotions and how it impacts the people around you. So, journaling, seeking feedback once again, relieving yourself of your own ego. Listen, it's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Take the ego out of all of this. Let go of the ego so that you can improve your self-awareness. Another thing you can do is practice self-regulation. Listen, you have to regulate yourself. There is a quadrant. I won't get into that tonight, but there's this quadrant that we can really delve into of emotional intelligence. And I'm just touching on some high points right now. But when you learn to self-regulate, like managing your stress, because sometimes we become so overwhelmed, we cannot control our impulsive reactions. You need to practice things like mindfulness and pausing before responding. Listen, let me ask you this question. If you get upset, where is the tongue in your mouth? If you can say it's clenched to the roof of your mouth, you don't need to respond. You know why? Because you're angry. So you got all of this inside of you, and before you respond, you need to make sure that your tongue is not clenched to the top of your mouth. You need to let your shoulders down. You need to listen to understand and not listen to just respond. Most of us hear just to respond, but we don't listen to understand. So you can't come back with an empathetic response if you're listening to only respond. So sometimes even in chaotic situations, even when there are disagreeable situations going on in the workplace, you have to know that you need to take a breather. Sometimes you got to breathe in, hold it for 5, let it out for 7, hold it again for 8. You need to practice that mindfulness before you press send on that email. You need to practice pausing. And you need to wait. Sometimes you need to cool down before you press send. Let me tell you something. If when you are typing an email response to someone and your fingers cause that noise to come through your keyboard where it seems like there's a pack of herd coming across your desk, I advise you at that point, do not press send. Okay? Tap your own self on the shoulder. If you have to send, if you must send it to yourself. Send it to yourself first. Read it. And then you'll know why I told you to send it to yourself and not to the recipient. Because that is practicing a level of groundness. You are practicing responding, thinking before you respond, so that your responses can be effective in the workplace. Do you not know there are a lot of people who have not lost jobs because they're underperformers? They've lost jobs because of how they've responded in situations. So another part, as we segue, is enhancing your social skills. Build strong relationships so that you can again have active listening, show empathy, foster open communication. Listen, it's okay to disagree. Let me just give you a few tips here. When you disagree, and you want to say something, you don't just have to say, I don't agree with that. You can say, listen, I have an altering point that I would like to make. I appreciate what you shared. May I share a different perspective? Again, you can disagree agreeably. That shows that you are open to other levels of communication. Because based on the environments of another individual, the teachings that another individual has, the experiences of another, they're going to have altering opinions. So you have altering opinions. It does not mean your opinion is right. It does not mean it's wrong. It's altering. It's different. So you need to cultivate an atmosphere where people are open to communicating with you. And again, I challenge things all the time, but I know how to challenge them in a way that differentiates me from being disagreeable and chaotic. Now, chaos is okay in certain areas. Critical thinking is okay in certain areas. However, you cannot be the person causing chaos all the time. You can't criticize everything you hear. You may not agree, but is it the time to disagree? It may not be time for that. So you have to have wisdom even in how you communicate in those types of settings. There's also times, now listen to this. Let me pause right here. Let me take a breath. How many of you have been in meetings where you have presented an idea? Let's just go here. You presented an idea and someone else swoops in. They say the exact same thing you said, slightly different way, and now the entire room, it's like a light bulb just went off. Everybody is clapping and so excited about your idea coming from someone else. How many have been in that situation? I know I have. Let me tell you, the first thing we want to do is combat the idea that it was ours, right? But this is how you harness emotional intelligence. You say, listen, thank you so much, Vincent, for that's my husband. So I don't have anybody in my workplace named Vincent that I'm saying this about. I'm just going to utilize him as an example. Thank you so much, Vincent, for agreeing with my point. I appreciate that I have someone who can really see the angle of, where I was coming from. So that lets everybody know right there in the room. It has already cleared the deck in a sense. Oh, that's my idea. Y'all clapping, but that belongs to me. Okay. That lets them know that I appreciate you, Vincent, or whomever has taken that glory. Thank you, Sally, for bringing that out in a much more vibrant way. That's exactly what I just finished speaking about, and I'm so glad that I have someone now that I can connect with in understanding my point. That's how you not come back and say, I just said that. That's what I just said, Sally. That's just what I said, Susie. Vincent, you just took my idea. I know that's not how we want to conduct ourselves in the workplace, across a table, a conference room, across teams. We want to be mindful of the idea that we can cultivate empathy. This is another one, and understand and acknowledge other people and their emotions, and also at the same time strengthen our workplace relationships. And this improves teamwork. Do you not know that one of the best compliments you can give yourself in a working environment is that you are a team player, and that you positively improve the culture of your work environment? That's one of the greatest compliments you can give yourself. One of the last things I want to share is that when you harness emotional intelligence, you improve conflict resolution. Now, I just said conflict, chaos, it's good some of the time, because out of conflict sometimes arises solutions, right? Out of conflict, you can get things done. However, you cannot be at the base of conflict and chaos all the time. Okay, you cannot be at the base of conflict, chaos, and calamity and be called a team player. It just does not work. So utilize emotional intelligence to navigate disagreements and be constructive in how you ensure solutions will benefit the good of the whole. Oh my goodness, that's really good there. As I funnel down, I just want to share that when you are not tapped in to this quotient of emotional intelligence, poor communication, misunderstandings, all of that conflict and chaos that I just shared, it becomes very prevalent in the workplace, and you don't want that. Also, low morale, a lack of emotional awareness leads to disengagement. Have you ever been at your job and just felt so disconnected, so just unsatisfied, just dissatisfaction and disengaged? Who wants to go to work like that every single day? I don't know about you, but aside from just getting a paycheck, I want to enjoy where I work. I want to enjoy. Now, I'm not going to say everybody is going to be a person you can get along with. However, I will say this. Even those that you may not have the best working relationship with, you can still have an emotional awareness that will not cause a low employee morale as you're even working and connecting and navigating with that individual or that group of people or that individual. Another low emotional intelligence marker is ineffective leadership. Listen, when you are just a transactional leader and you have no emotional connection, when you do not serve from a place of empathy and you struggle with what we're speaking about right now, you fail as a leader because you cannot inspire from a place of disengagement. You cannot. You are ineffective as a leader if you do not possess emotional intelligence. It also causes high stress. And we all know what stress leads to. I don't have to go through what stress leads to. But when you don't manage your emotions, it results in burnout and workplace tension. So there's that tension again. We don't want that. So let me just share this. We want to increase productivity. We want to be high performers on our team. We want to express ourselves utilizing emotional intelligence, and we want to be the problem solvers, the collaborators. So all I'm saying tonight is harness your emotional intelligence so that you can be one of the better team players, and you can motivate and inspire. And again, you do not have to be the leading leader to do that. From Teams, from Zoom, from any of these from Outlook, from any of these digital platforms, you can be an inspirational leader as an individual contributor or the president and CEO of an organization. Just know that emotional intelligence is something that you definitely need to harness. Keep that a top of mind. And as you continue to skate into this wonderful work week, know that emotional intelligence is something that you must possess in order to be a better contributor to your job. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this very late Cinco de Mayo. I hope you all have enjoyed and had fun. Please join me back here again for another episode of Monday Mail. I appreciate you all for joining. Take care and be well.